Hey Big Eats, this week I can assure you there's definitely going to be a nice bit of smoke on the opening. Hey?
Quite often on the Craft Beer channel, we do something that everybody's asking for in the comments. This week it's something nobody was asking for as we dig into the joys of smoked beer. How much smoked beer do you drink, Bradley?
Approximately 0. I would say I drink smoked beer when we make videos with smoked beer, which hasn't been in about 5 years.
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe occasionally I might treat myself of a winter time with a packet of Frazzles and maybe a Shankerla.
Yeah, and I think that is about the extent to which people have explored smoked beer, which is smoke is this incredibly evocative thing. It sticks to your clothes, but it also sticks in your brain. There's something carnal about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I drink smoked beer more than I actually do.
It gives you, I think it gives, like you're saying, there's something a bit carnal, a bit more primitive about it. It makes me feel like a caveman, like I'm around a fire that's like smoky, and it makes me want to eat like meat and get cozy and warm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get involved.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say we're quite going back to caveman times, but this is an incredibly important historical flavour in brewing, as we're going to dig into, as we drink the absolute classic that is the Schlenkerla Helles. Right, so this beer comes from Bamberg.
Oh, I love it.
This is Schlenkerla Märzen, and I've picked the Märzen for a very specific reason, which is that this beer, roughly literally, slightly literally, is going to transport us back to how lagers once tasted in Bavaria. So if we go all the way back to the 1600s, pretty much every beer in the world would have looked and tasted a little bit like this. It would have had that smoky flavour, it probably would have had this kind of colour, probably even a little bit darker, to be honest. And that was because we were quite shit at making malt.
We sort of burnt it, basically, as we kind of cooked it.
So until the 1600s, when the UK, specifically a landed gent in Cornwall, invented the indirect fire kiln, which is the inspiration for the oven. We've got a video all about that history. But until that point, we were kilning our malts after germinating, malting it. We were kilning it to stop that process, get it ready for the brewer, over open fires.
Wild.
And this meant taint from the smoke.
Yeah.
And as anybody who's ever done a barbecue will know, usually the first sausage is a sacrifice.
Yes.
Some of it gets burned.
Yeah, like open fire generates a vast amount of smoke, doesn't it? If you're, depending on the wood you're using as well, whether it's charcoal, which I don't even know was a thing at that point, maybe it was.
So they'd have been using wood to start with, and then they'd have started using coke, which was a slightly cleaner fuel, and then indirect fire and coke together meant that we could create something that was much more evenly kilned and didn't have the taint of smoke, which is what this Cornish gent talked about. So that was in the UK in the 1600s, but that technology didn't really spread for a long, long time. It didn't spread until Spaten Brewery, the Gabriel Sedelmeier, the junior, came to the UK, discovered this technique and brought it back to Bavaria, to his brewery Spaten.
I love some of that.
Exactly that. And he called it the British kiln, to be fair to him. He gave credit where it was due. And he brought the idea of unsmoked beer to Germany. And he brewed the first non-smoked beer, and it was a revamp of their Märzen.
Okay. Right.
And the Märzen was this beer that was brewed in spring, lagered all through the summer, and was cracked open around about harvest when they ran out of beer, essentially, because they couldn't brew over summer. But until that point, what we would have had is probably a smoked, quite dark Märzen. So this beer is effectively, after all that, very, very close, I think, to what would have been drunk in Bavaria and the surrounds up until 1838, I think, when they launched that at Oktoberfest, this unsmoked beer.
It's a lager time machine.
It's a lager time machine right here.
Wow.
So let's get the aroma, shall we?
Whoa, okay. I mean, it does smell great, to be fair.
Smoky bacon.
Yeah.
Bit raisiny, bit caramelly.
It's got a sweetness to the smoke, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is like dark and delicious sort of smoke.
Absolutely. It feels like autumn in a glass.
Yeah.
Cheers. Prost, I should say.
Yep.
But what's really notable is underneath is clearly quite a dark Märzen, right?
Yeah.
It is treacly, caramelly, figgy, and very, very crisp.
It's crisp, isn't it? Yeah.
On top of that is just
wild smoke.
smoke all around you.
Crispy smoke.
Yeah. But it's not as all-encompassing as you might expect from the aroma.
No, it's not overpowering the level of smoke. It's a great, well-balanced beer, isn't it? Just with a bit of smoke on it.
Just with a bit of smoke. And I think a lot of people are put off by that aroma. They're put off by the idea of smoked beer, but it makes a lot of sense. It was the most natural way of creating malts back then.
Can I posture something, Johnny? Which is, I don't know if there's any historical accuracy at all, but you know, there's something about smoky flavours that hides a lot of other flavours. So, in this way of being, you know, an inaccurate way of toasting and making, you know, preparing the barley, could they have masked some of the off flavours that they no doubt had with early brewing?
You know, I'd imagine it was probably they weren't masking it with smoky flavours, but probably a bit like when the smoking ban came in and you realised what nightclubs actually smelled like.
Yeah.
Suddenly a lot of flaws were discovered.
Right.
And probably had to clean up very quickly. And luckily Louis Pasteur was working on that less than 20 years later.
Yeah, because when you lose the smoke, yeah, you're right. There must be like the evolution of like the taste. Suddenly you're like, whoa, I can taste everything else now.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I don't like that thing.
It was not an immediate. I mean, it was an immediate hit at Oktoberfest in 1938, but not everybody loved it. Everyone was like, "This." Many people were like, "This is an abomination," and other people were like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever tasted." Because, you know, I doubt the beers back then would have been as delicious as this, but it is a delicious, carnal, nostalgic aroma, right?
Yeah,
Even
for sure.
Us, you don't spend much time around fire anymore.
Like I'm saying, it's. I mean, I like Schenkola a lot. As much as I can any smoked beer, I think. Which I don't know whether that... I'm not being down on smoke. It's just they're quite overpowering normally. Whereas I find this very, very palatable. And like with cheese and stuff like that of a winter night, it's kind of a brilliant beer.
I think so, and I think it's quite context dependent. Like we keep talking about the seasons, and I write about this at length in A Year in Beer. But if you're in Bamberg, in those big oak panelled rooms and surrounded by that kind of aroma and that kind of scenery, it probably makes a lot more sense.
Big time.
Something I'm really keen to put across here is that the flavour that you get from smoked beer is very, very different to the flavour that you get from roasted malt. Right?
Yes.
So it's not chocolate.
There's no coffee,
burnt toast.
No, there's no like a bit, like a bitterness or coffeeness.
It's campfire. It's bacon.
Yeah,
and it's specifically beech.
This is beechwood,
which is what is used for pretty much all smoked malt today. And so what I thought we could do is to try and hammer this message home to people. Is to bring along. I've brought along, courtesy of the malt miller, 2 smoked malts here.
Okay.
That we can taste and smell. And the first one is the Rauch malt from probably the most famous of the smoked malt producers, which is Weimar. And I thought we could taste this malt, because the thing that I think surprised people is that's a pale malt, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's not dark whatsoever.
Exactly. So the processes have been massively improved since that time. So there is no burned.
So it's like, it's not like charred or anything like that. No. It's just like imbibed with the smoky essence.
With the smoky flavours.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the world's tiniest scissors on my Night Watchman. Night Watchman? Night Manager? No, that's TV
Night
show.
Manager. Yeah,
is it the Night
I think
Manager?
it is called something like that. Yeah, I'm calling it the Night Manager. Okay, yeah.
Do you know, that's even sweeter.
That's one up my nose.
You just snorted a kernel of...
Yeah, I did, yeah. Hopefully that isn't going to come back and bite me.
It smells like toffee, folks. Slightly smoky toffee.
It is very sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Can you see how subtle that smoke is on the actual grape?
It's not very smoky once you...
So there is some kind of alchemy, some kind of magic that happens. A tiny amount of smoked malt, like up to around about 10% smoked malt in a beer, will actually present with this kind of slightly smoky toffee or honey.
Yeah.
Or adding depth. And Weimar specifically say, if you want to add depth to a darker beer, use up to 10% of this stuff. It won't present as smoky.
Got you.
Once you go past that threshold, it starts to present as smoky. But then, interestingly, when I was at Toolside, who were digging into a bit, they said once you get over about 80-90% or go 100% smoked malt, the smoke character actually starts to taper away again.
Oh, no way.
So you can have too much of the
smoke thing. So if you use it in small amounts, it's almost like dark beer seasoning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you might use salt and pepper on your, whatever, your meat, a bit of meat that you're gonna, caramelize over a bit of fire, and it just sort of like brings out the flavors of the thing.
I think so.
And emphasizes them.
Absolutely.
That's really interesting to think about.
There's something to be said about using smoked malt even if you're not trying to make a smoked beer. It can add depth. So that's Beach. It's quite bacony. It's quite toffeed.
Yeah.
It's very, very Moorish. Lovely snack.
Yeah, delicious.
So I've then got from another of the, one of really only 2 people doing this at any scale.
Yeah.
We've got Best Malts, and this is their Cherry Ember.
Cherry Ember.
So before I crack this bag, Brad,
Yeah.
I want you to just sniff the plastic.
Okay. Kinky.
Because that
What?
is how potent this stuff is. So
Got through plastic.
it's either got through the plastic or just in the packaging process as they were putting
Right.
it in, it's tainted the entire thing.
The air, the whole
Yeah.
air is
Which-
dankness to it.
If you go to Schlenkerla and you drink the Helles has no smoked malt in. That is just taint from the equipment, from the yeast that's being recropped. It gets on your clothes, it gets on everything. So this is cherry wood.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
What? Now that is smoky.
Way smokier.
Like you can almost taste it, like you've inhaled a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, it does feel like I'm having a bonfire. I remember as a kid, ever so often my dad would be like chopping stuff in the back garden and then putting it in a big metal sort of container thing. The sticks, it was quite fun. And you'd like shove the sticks in and the flames would come up and you get a little bit too close and you get a face full of that really acrid smoke that would like make your eyes go, oh. It's not painful like that, but it's very, very smoky.
Yeah. And it's also way more kind of umami. I can almost taste, whereas this was porky, this is beefy. This feels like the crust of a well-smoked brisket. It is full on.
Nice. That's a good analogy, yep.
And so using this, I think at 10% you'd know,
Definitely.
compared to this one. It's really intense.
I do love that smell.
I mean, it has a kind of, it obviously has that intense smokiness, but it has a kind of floral, sweet intrigue to it as well.
Which I'm guessing is the
Is the cherry influence.
is the cherry, right?
Yeah. So these are remarkable, interesting flavours that I can't understand. You keep saying you don't drink a lot of this. You could drink a lot of this. I find it so Moorish and intriguing, and I guess that's personal.
For sure,
Personal taste.
and it is, and it's like it's a reacquaintance with it, because I think it is polarizing as a drinker, and also I don't know if it would kill your palate. It might kill your palate if you're out of an evening. So it's like, at what point do you go, right? It's their round, guys. I want a smoked beer for this round. I'm not sure where it fits in.
Yeah. I think you're on the smoked beers or you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
So, seeing as we are on the smoked beers,
We definitely are.
what I've now got is 3 beers from a really great brewery who absolutely love smoked beer. In fact, it's kind of what brought this brewery together, the 2 folks that founded it. This love of, as Chris, one of the founders, put it when I met him, he said he just liked burning stuff as a kid. And that's
Me
where
too,
it
buddy.
started.
We're going to get along.
So we're going to taste some beers, 3 here, possibly a surprise afterwards, but 3 beers that all use different kinds of smoked malt in indeed 3 different styles. Right, so we're going to start with a beer that was directly influenced by this brewery, and I think specifically by this beer.
Right.
And this is a Rauch wine, which I don't think you could call it a style, but it is a thing.
They've made it a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Torside specifically. Other
it's
breweries
become
do
a
make
thing.
this, yeah. Rauch is obviously German for smoke.
Yeah.
And this one, so this is going to be Beechwood again. It's from their Monsters range, which is sort of their big beers that you might want to age.
Monsters.
They say it's German beech smoke with the sweetness from the strength to make it rich but easy sipping.
Rich but easy.
We'll be the judge of easy sipping, I think.
I like the sound of rich but easy. How do we get rich but easy, Johnny? I'd love to get rich but easy. Drink Torside beer.
Drink Torside beer, maybe. Don't make smoked beer. I don't think that makes anything rich or easy. So we've got that kind of classic barley wine, toffee apple kind of colour.
Kind of hazy.
It is pretty hazy, yeah. I mean, I believe it's a bottle conditioned beer for the aging. Probably it's been jigged about in the bag on the way over.
Possibly. Wow.
Well, yeah.
That is complicated.
I mean, again, toffee apples, kind of suggested by the colour, but I get toffee apples, campfires.
There's almost like a sort of sourness to it.
I think so, yeah. I think there's a real...
I don't know about cherry, but there's something
rich,
a bit...
sharp fruitiness.
Yeah, like a real sort of Yeah, fruity sourness.
Which I think you will start to get in aged beer. It's like verging on sherry kind of character to it. But that smoke is pretty restrained, and I would imagine that smoke starts to fade away as beers age. Booze, toffee, sherry, very gentle smoke.
Measured smokiness.
Yeah.
Not over the top smokiness.
I can't think of a more nostalgic flavour. Like, that literally makes me think I'm at a fireworks display on the 5th of November.
Trying not to get your hands sizzled by a sparkler.
I'm kind of trying to.
Yeah, I mean, every kid's trying to in a way, seeing how far they can push
Part
it.
of you just wants to touch it. Yeah.
If you didn't tell me it was smoked, I would just think there's a real rich sort of darkness to it.
I think if you were blind, you'd assume it was a dark beer, right? It's like that. But actually, it's an amber beer.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
So this next one is kind of a historical abomination in that it's a British ESB.
Yes.
So it's a style from the nation that almost eradicated smoked beer.
Yes.
But they've used some maple smoked barley in the recipe. So this is called Acer, and it's a collaboration with Runaway Brewery, who also do a couple of smoked beers. I think they have a smoked brown was sort of one of their original beers. So another brewery that knows how to do smoked beer.
Good colour. Interesting colour again.
Yeah, I mean, I'd see an ESB maybe being a little bit darker than that usually.
Yeah.
But so it's not got the malt depth that you'd expect from, say, like a Fuller's ESB, but what it's been replaced with is that kind of intrigue from smoked malt. So it's got that toffee and that caramel that you'd want from an ESB. I think it's got some of that kind of hedgerow hop fruitiness as well.
Yeah.
But there's something underlying it that's a little bit hard to pick up on. And I think that's the maple wood. I think that's a kind of sticky, woody, very soft smokiness.
Yeah.
That, again, you would kind of expect to come potentially from a darker beer, from something that's got some roast to it. But we know that it's coming from the smoke, and it is that kind of lit wood rather than non-ignited.
Yes, exactly.
So there's a form of smoked malt that we haven't mentioned yet. An entirely different, essentially, fuel. It's not even wood. And it's peat.
Like in whiskey.
Like in whiskey, exactly. So peat smoked malt is used typically in the Islay whiskies, and it adds that. It's very hard to describe, kind of
peatiness,
kind of muddy, boggy.
There's an earthly, like a bitter sort of earthy. I don't like beetroot juice, Johnny. I'm wondering whether it's got a beetroot juice sort of vibe to it.
Maybe beetroot.
It's kind of like earthy.
Yeah,
it's of the earth.
So this beer is. I mean, it's one. I'll just read what the what the ingredients are. We've got barley, we've got crystal rye, we've got oats, we've got peat smoked barley, we've got cherries, we've got hops, and we've got yeast.
Actual cherries.
Actual cherries.
Wow.
It says, small things working together is one of our favourite things in beer, and of course, brewing true to style. With that in mind, please enjoy this classic purist barley wine. Bit of irony there. So let's give this an aroma and see if we can. I'd imagine, even at tiny proportions, we're going to be able to pick up peat.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. So the first thing that hits your face is actually the cherries.
The cherries, yeah.
But then, see, now you said beetroot juice. I
feel like there is a beetroot juice vibe to it.
That is kind of what peat smoke, I think, can really add. It's this earthy, funky.
Yeah, it's like funky beetroot.
Burn, yeah. So it's big, it's bold, it's boozy.
Well, yeah, it's still coming.
And actually, you're left with peat.
Yeah, that is that's quite something.
Yeah,
it's got a bit of a burn, like as if you are drinking some whiskey. Maybe you've watered it down a little bit. So it's not like full on.
Yeah, I mean, there's big alcohol on there. It's 10.5%, and it drinks like that. It's one of those beers where you know it is. And it does, your brain immediately goes to peat smoked whiskey, right? Because it's just that you only really find that flavour in whiskey, right? So it's all I can think of. It's not like this one where I think of campfires.
No.
I just think shots of whiskey.
Yeah, this one feels like boozy, sophisticated. Maybe I'm on a small island, getting in my bovvy, Johnny.
Yeah.
And I'm cracking one of these, maybe with my little dog to keep me warm.
Yeah, a little Jack Russell or a terrier.
Yeah, a little wiry guy.
Yeah.
And we're having the best time. He's enjoying it as well.
Yeah. Do you know, I've gone the other way. My memory, the thing that this is making me think of is being in a fancy old cocktail bar. It's like a smoky old-fashioned.
Yeah, I get that.
Instead of like that orange peel, it's cherry.
Yes.
But it's caramel and it's whiskey and it's smoke. And if you decarbonise that, served it over ice, slipped a cherry or an orange peel in there, I'd be like, this is a refined cocktail, my friend.
Yeah, so it's like you swapped out the citrus for like a dark fruit kind of thing. And yeah, you're right. It does have a sophisticated cocktail vibe.
I mean, I've definitely had a smoked old-fashioned somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody saw me coming and went...
What one where they like whip the little lid off it and it's like...
And it's... Maybe. No, I've never been somewhere that fancy. But that's what it reminds me of, this beer. It feels really quite refined.
Yes, it does. It really does.
In a way that I wouldn't have expected starting this video, you know? And that peat, I'm not a huge fan of peat. I don't like peated whiskies that much, but actually the way that it melds with the cherry and with the toffee actually works really, really nicely.
I must say, it's working well.
It tastes a bit like all the descriptions of Islay whiskey, which I've then tried and then disliked.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're saying is better than Islay whiskey?
Better than Islay whiskey.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, that's going to get us cancelled in some circles of the internet. So we're at 10.5%. We're having a cherry beer that reminds you of being in a bivouac with a dog you don't have, and it reminds me of being in a fancy cocktail bar I've never been to. How about we finish with some Polish champagne?
I couldn't think of anything more in this world, Johnny, that I'd rather do right now than drink some Polish champagne with you.
The last thing you thought I'd say, wasn't it?
Polish champagne.
Let's have some Grodzickie. I'll work it out by the next take.
Grodzickie is about to happen.
So Bradley, some finest Polish champagne.
I mean, it doesn't look like a champagne bottle, Johnny.
No, but I don't think it should either. So this is Grodzickie, which is it's actually a native style to Poland, and it is a 100% wheat smoked session beer. It should be super highly carbonated and crystal clear, which is why it's called Polish champagne.
Okay.
But it is, in fact, a smoked beer at a minuscule 2.8%.
Wow, okay.
I poured it.
Look at that.
Could be clearer, but look at that carbonation and that colour for a smoked beer. And this is 100% wheat as well, which is probably making a lot of home brewers be a bit like, that's bold.
Yes.
Tell me what you get on this one.
Smoky, Johnny.
But it's like charred lemon, right? Smoky lemon.
Right, okay, I sort of get what you're saying with the lemon.
There's acidity underneath.
Is that what it is? So maybe it is a little bit like a lemon barley vibes. A little bit
kind
like
of smoky lemon barley vibes, which is coming from, that smoked, it's wheat,
It's like an old man smoking a pipe and drinking some lemon barley.
Yeah, is that the thing that happens? I'm not quite sure. Cheers.
In Poland, maybe. Great kind of quaffable, crushable beer.
Yeah.
I really like the mouthfeel, and I'm enjoying the sort of subtleness of it.
It's really dry, it's really crisp, it's really a very clean wheat beer.
Yeah.
But obviously with loads of smoke and savouriness and a tiny lick of lemon.
So many little beautiful bubbles that are just tickling my tongue.
Yeah.
As it's going down.
It feels a lot like, like one of those healthy adult sodas.
Yeah, it does have, it does feel like it's probably doing you some good.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, it's not.
It's pretty good, man. Do you know what? I feel like I could have an English breakfast with some really smoky bacon and, some eggs with lovely runny, there's a bit of sourdough bread with this. Instead of, substitute out your orange juice.
Yeah, just sub it out.
Or if you're being fancy, a champagne with orange juice in for breakfast, like a fancy breakfast.
I mean, I would not make a Bucks Fizz with this. I think that would be grim.
No.
But yeah, sub out your Bucks Fizz for this at Christmas, folks.
And it feels like it might be nourishing. It's got a kind of body to it that I associate with something that's it's almost like a little bit of a bready kind of quality to it.
From the 100% wheat, I'd imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've joked about it, but honestly, that was smoked salmon. If you've got lemon and smoke, salmon's the obvious pairing with that. Yep. I think that would be beautiful. So yeah, there we go. We've landed on Christmas Day. We've gone through all of autumn.
Yeah.
Bonfire night. Oh. And landed at Christmas. What a tour. And I think what this shows, this whole video, all of these flavours, is that there's a lot you can do with smoked beer, with different quantities, with different woods, or not woods in the case of the peat.
Yep.
But they all end up having something in common, which is this kind of carnal thing that just somehow touches your soul and goes, this is right.
I said I don't know where I'd fit a smoked beer into a night out. I could fit all of these beers into a night out.
We've found occasions.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. And they're all, you know, like, I feel they could go into a rotation with non-smoked beers as well, because they're not super duper smoky.
Like, my hand smell of smoke, my bag smells of smoke from bringing this,
but is true.
My palate is actually quite clean and ready for another smoked beer.
Yeah.
And so I think you should get yourselves ready for another smoked beer, because it's a style that deserves, it's not even a style, sorry, it's a broad church that deserves a lot more attention, and a lot of different beers could actually benefit from just, you know, you want to be 5% smoked beer, I reckon, at all times.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers.